Here I am with Soup, doing a little bit of groundwork before I step on him for his 9th ride. This was the first time he had been to this arena, and the first time he had ever been trailered with a saddle. I had worked with him for about a half hour prior to this video on just loading and unloading from the trailer because he wanted to be in a pretty big rush about that and get kind of silly. And when he finally found a good spot there, he got to stand tied while I worked with a couple other horses, and now it's his turn. I'm just looking for him to move out and trot out nice on the lunge line here, and hopefully we can lope for the first time under saddle today. That was my goal. This horse is pretty nervous of people. He's come a long way since I've had him, but he's kind of the skeptical type. And in a situation where he feels like he needs to get away, too pressured up, his first response has been to try to kind of run off. Like the first time I saddled him, he didn't really know how to buck. He was darn sure tight, but he kind of just tried to run off. However, he was pretty easy to pick up and correct. So I was really interested to see what he would do under saddle when asked to lope for the first time. I didn't think he would be smooth about it, but I show what he does here later, so it was kind of interesting. I'm kind of feeling him out and preparing to get on here, making sure that his cinch is tight enough. Now this was kind of a new thing here. He didn't really want me to step on him, and when I would go to pick my foot up to step on him, he would try to leave, which just turned into disengaging. So I would go ahead and put him to work. Right here I'm flapping my stirrup, and he's not worried about that. But when I go to step on him, he immediately moves. So I'm smacking him on the side there, trying to get him to disengage, and showing him that it's more work to try to get out of me stepping on. Smack him again. Try to get that hip moving. He was kind of trying to back up to get away from me instead of disengaging like I was looking for. And then I pet on him. Go to step on again, and he immediately moves off again. So I get after that hip a little more aggressively. Just looking for him to move, trying to put his feet to work. I pet on him some more. Go to step on again. He moves just a step there and then decides to stand, so I let it fly. As far as I can remember, that's the first time he's been a little weird about getting on. So, sitting on him now, the first thing I'm going to do is look for his hinds. I want him to roll that hind end around and make sure that I can disengage him. I just realized this was only the 3rd time that I'd saddled and rode him. All of his other rides up to this point have been bareback. So that's kind of a fun fact. And I've kept him in either a halter or a hackamore for all of his rides. I have not bitted him yet. Now this horse, I don't know exactly what his history was before he came to me. So he could have been bitted, and I think he had some riding before me, but he doesn't act like he had a very solid foundation because he definitely has a lot of holes in him. So we're working on that. He's come a long way in a pretty short amount of time. I haven't worked with him very consistently. I've left him alone quite a bit just to fill out some, because when I first got him he was pretty scrawny and he's gained a lot of weight. A lot of his deal is just learning how to trust people, and he's really making nice progress in that regard. He comes up to me in the pen and wants scratches now instead of hiding behind the other horses. Here we're just walking around. I think he could make a horse. It's just going to take some more time. I don't think he was really given a great chance at a start, so we'll see if we can give him a good foundation and see what he's going to be. He's pretty happy to move out here. This was also the first time I had ever ridden him in spurs, so we got to figure that out. He's traveling around really nice here. He wants to be exceptionally soft in hackamore, and he's always been that way since I got him. Somebody at some point has worked with him. It's just hard to say how much they did and what they did. Just trot around a little bit here. Now, Soup was really weird about where he wanted to draw to. Most green horses want to draw back to the trailer, back to their buddies. And the trailer's in the bottom left-hand corner of this frame here. But Soup wanted to draw away from the trailer and was pretty reluctant about going back towards it, which is extremely unusual. But that being said, he is pretty worried about the trailer. And I had just worked him there quite a bit. So he was thinking that was a bad place to be at this point. Now this horse was bred by Leroy Howerland out of Sealy, Texas. He is a Gumbo Gin Cake son out of a Roney's Tomcat Snippy Wood mare. So he's High Rolling Roney, Mr. Pete Oswald on top, out of High Rolling Roney, Snippy's Driftwood, and Doc's Jack Frost on the bottom. And the mare that he's out of was a Mike Pearson mare, which I thought was pretty cool. A friend of mine has a really nice Mike Pearson mare that she's had for a lot of years. That is an amazing ranch horse. And this is the first horse that I've had out of this program, and the first Gumbo Gin Cake horse that I've had my hands on. He's definitely not as easy as some of the other Oswald horses that I've had, but that being said, he was pretty screwed up, and I don't think he's had very good handling during his life, so he kind of just needed a chance. He's also not nearly as shapy, but that being said, he did need to fill out quite a bit. But he's finally looking like a horse now, so I'm excited to see what he will become. We're just cruising around at a trot here. I keep checking him out and making sure that I have his hip and that I can shut him down if I need to. This is the most that we've been able to trot out, and he really does have an absolutely incredible long trot. He travels ground really well. I'm interested to get him out in the hills and see what he's like outside, because at this point I've only ridden him at home and in this arena here. So I don't know if he's going to be spooky outside or if he's comfortable. I've ponied him in town some, and he acts like everything outside is pretty cool, but the human is what he's worried about. You could see me going back and forth quite a bit there. He doesn't really want to line out back towards the trailer, but he's happy to line out away from the trailer. And that is just super weird. So he kind of tries to go left and then tries to go right when he's going back towards the trailer like a colt would, just because he's not freed up. But going away from the trailer there, he doesn't have any problems going straight. I keep shutting him down and rolling him around. At this point, I don't trust that he's not going to do anything stupid when he does break into a lope. And my wariness ended up being warranted. Just trotting some more. You can see him kind of try to duck out from one side to the other. He doesn't want to go in a straight line back towards the trailer. And he's slowing down quite a bit too. So I'm just kind of showing him that he's got to go where I'm asking. He just tries to duck out right there, so I bend him around and we keep going. He kind of acts like he's been able to get away with some stuff. But he's not nasty about it. He's so doggone flexible. He kind of had a hard time just following his nose. He kind of wanted to dip his shoulder in the direction he wanted to go and just take that. So we worked on that quite a bit. He wanted to throw his head right there, so I got after him and bent him around again. Got after his hip. And I try not to get stuck circling anywhere. I want to correct him and then take right back off and continue on what we were doing. See, he doesn't want to go back towards the left side of the screen there. He's just being weird about the trailer. I'm kicking him to go and he wants to back up. Bend him around and get after him. He's just acting like he doesn't have to do what I'm asking him to do. And when he gives me some forward steps, I try to make that easier for him. That was a lot better there. He was really hung up on that trailer. But it is just so unusual for a horse to not want to go back to their buddies. This is about 30 seconds later when we came back into frame. I'm still messing with his feel here and his ability to walk back towards the trailer. I was pretty happy with that right there, so he rested for a second and I pet on him. And then we carried on. He trots off really nice. Shows off that nice long trot going down the fence. He's really happy to line out. We go all the way to the other end and I bend him around. And then we take off trotting again. I'm just working on his ability to trot decent circles over here. Whenever I point him back towards the trailer, he gets kind of apprehensive. But the further we are away from it, the better he is about it. I'm just trying to get him to figure out how to follow his nose and come off my feel. He's a lot more reluctant to trot back towards the trailer. Got his head bent around to the left there and he's not wanting to come off my leg. I did a lot of that during this ride, just trying to get him to figure out how to come off my leg and go where his nose is pointing. Spank him on the butt there, because he's just stopping without me asking. But the second we turn around, he's happy to just take off and go. Shut him down right there, bend him around, ask him to take off again. He's pointed at the trailer, so he's really reluctant at first. We take off again to the far side. And I'm just trying to get a feel of him here. He's not wanting to come off my rein very much. I'll bend him around towards the trailer, and he just keeps shouldering in into the direction he wants to go. I'm just looking for him to have a decent feel at a trot before I ask him to lope for the first time. Cut to another clip here. This was just a minute or two later. And this is actually the first lope right here. On a right lead, just a few strides. He didn't do anything silly. There's another little lope. That one was quite a bit longer. Bring him around and ask again. I'm asking this whole time. Right there, he kicks out and tries to run off. I pick him up and bend him around. He actually pulled those shenanigans twice, but he ended up in a really nice spot during this ride, and we finally did get a little bit of a lope. There's a little more. I'm just looking for him to be soft with me and willing to move out and not silly. There, he's loping some more. He started trying after he attempted pulling some dumb, and we ended up quitting over here. There, he tried running off again. I bend him around and I'm pretty aggressive about it, and we go right back to it. He ended in a good spot, and I'm looking forward to putting more time on him. He's definitely not a bronc. If he was going to buck, it would have been here. And that running off stuff seems pretty easy to squash, so I'm excited for him. There, that was really nice right there. Actually loped most of a circle. And that's where we quit. Thank you for watching.